This is a spoiler warning for The Last of Us Part 2. Stop now or forever hold your peace. A surgery ward hallway haunts the lives of two young women who both find themselves victims of events set into motion beyond their control. But they are also victims of their own actions they chose to commit. Cast down from the lofty heights of their innocence, both will plumb the depths of the abyss, from which their only escape is to mend their broken wings so that they might rise again. I'm Dan, aka Wolf, and today we're going to talk about the fallen angels of The Last of Us Part 2, the one who sought atonement, and the one who never looked for the light. On this channel, I see occasional comments that call into question Abby's level of remorse for her actions. Now, I never thought to make a video about this because to me, it was obvious from the moment we got to see things from her perspective that she was clearly damaged by what she had done. In fact, her quest for atonement makes up the majority of our playtime with her, comprising the main plot points of her second and third day in Seattle, as well as her brief play in California. Our first clue that she has traumatized herself by what she has done is all in her facial expression as she looks down upon Joel's body while Ellie screams in the background. On subsequent playthroughs, I have an even deeper appreciation for Abby carrying Yara. Not only do I just love the energy of it, for me, it's also symbolic for Abby carrying her younger self. The girl whose wings were broken by the loss of her father and the vengeance she embraced as bad medicine. In fact, Yara is 16 years old, roughly the same age Abby was when her father was killed. The fact that Yara is a scar, also known as a seraphite with a broken wing, are powerful symbols to our subconscious, especially since seraphite is derived from the word seraph, which is an angelic being in Judaism. Therefore, Abby is carrying a scarred angel with a broken wing, both within and without her, and helping her is the central focus of Abby's standalone narrative in the game. To punctuate this and our introduction to these characters, Abby's association of guilt to the fate of Yara and Lev can be seen that night when she dreams of the hallway at St. Mary's. But instead of finding her father in the surgery room, she sees the teenagers dead, eviscerated, and hanging. But we don't need deep symbols or personal interpretations to know that Abby is haunted by what she's done.
Some wolves believe in God. I've heard them pray.
Well, I don't. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die for me.
Then what are you doing here? Why did you come back for us?
Guilt.
Of what? You don't owe us anything.
I just needed to lighten the load a bit.
Abby, why are you helping us?
Lev asked me the same thing. I guess you don't deserve this. But also, I needed to. I had to.
By seeking to help Yara and Lev, Abby goes deep into the abyss to come face to face with the amalgam of her inner demons and emerges with the boon that can help save the girl and save herself, eventually rekindling her old spark of hope as she sets off to chase a rumor about the Fireflies. Unlike Abby, Ellie never really seems to internalize what she has done during the time frame of this game. Whether she's killing a young woman listening to an iPod or discovering the horrifying fact that she has indeed killed a pregnant mother, there is no lingering display of grief or regret. Aside from the initial shock in her facial expressions, these actions do not appear to haunt Ellie as they did Abby. Ellie has no nightmares of discovering Mel's body, only to see that she has Dina's face, which, in my view, would have been a powerful sequence to have played in the game. A mere reference in her journal would have been a suitable subtle statement of some measure of recognition for her actions. Instead, Ellie's journal is only filled with the horror of observing Joel's death. I do not point this out as a criticism, but more as a preference from a storytelling perspective, as well as to show the dichotomy of how each woman addresses recognition of her own choices and actions. While I did find Ellie's lack of internalization jarring upon the completion of my first playthrough, I have since come to accept that we all deal with grief and trauma in our own way, and certain levels of self-awareness can be exceedingly difficult to find in such terrible circumstances. I also cling to the hope that her lack of internalization in this game leaves room for her development in a third and final game, which you can check out my story treatment for in the link above. At the end of the day, poison can never be used as a replacement for medicine when one needs to heal their own soul. And at the very least, Ellie appears to have realized this in her final moments with Abby. To echo Christina Hawk's beautiful lyrics to her song Already Broken, I couldn't stop the bleeding by painting the ground with red. If this video meant something to you, please consider supporting me on Patreon so I can devote more time to creating the content you love. Follow me on Twitter and show me pictures of the wolf in your life. And don't forget to leave your love in the comments. Remember that I have other videos that may offer you something you didn't know you were searching for. Until next time, I'll catch you in the wilderness of the mental.